What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at the Montreal Canadiens once again as the war rages on. Should they take on Slafkovsky at the number one pick, or should they stick with Shane Wright, the number one center, according to the NHL draft prospect rankings and everything else? They do have Shane Wright as the number one guy, but there has been a little bit of an affinity towards Slafkovsky. Apparently, the Montreal Canadiens, too, have been pretty interesting with their draft interviews up at the Scouting Combine up in Buffalo. One of the things we heard, and this one was kind of interesting, so do you take the $10 that's sitting on the toilet seat, or do you go for the $50 that's in the toilet, like in the water? And again, these are the kind of questions, I guess it's definitely something, right? So I thought that was interesting. And considering the Habs logo looks like a toilet seat if you flip it the right way, just saying, it is a little bit, what's the word? It doesn't matter, I guess, right? But I thought that was kind of fitting and interesting. So anyway, we also heard that there was another one. The spirit animal. What is your spirit animal, right? Of course, most of the guys said lion. That makes sense. But apparently, Slafkovsky said he's a lone wolf, right? He's the wolf. And I thought that was a little bit interesting. So that may or may not help his draft stock. I don't know. I don't know what mind-reading stuff are they trying to do. We've heard Eisman do some weird stuff in draft interviews. But that was definitely one I was like, okay, kind of interesting. So anyway, as the debate rages on, what is going on with Shane Wright? So apparently, according to The Athletic, with all of this talk between Slafkovsky and Wright, Shane Wright is not an absolute lock to go first overall at the 2022 NHL Draft. And then this is from Mike Morale. Shane Wright will interview with 12 different teams, including Montreal, Arizona, and New Jersey. Quite fitting because those are the top three teams drafting first, second, and third overall. Excuse me for a second. I do wonder what the other 9 teams are. Is it the next 9 teams between 4 and 12, drafting between 4th and 12th? Or is it some odd team that's maybe drafting 20th, like Carolina, and they're thinking, oh, maybe we want to talk to Shane Wright? I don't know, but I thought that was kind of interesting. What other 9 teams really think they're going to get him? I don't know, but again, leaves you kind of wondering what's going on there. This is from Marco D'Amico, just a couple days later. The Canadiens are indeed leaning toward taking Shane Wright with the first overall pick. So again, within a week, we're starting to hear all these conflicting reports. They aren't sold on taking him, but now they are leaning toward taking him. I think they're just trying to create that little stir so it's a little bit fun at the draft floor when, it's like the suspense. Oh, are they going to take Slafkovsky? Are they going to take Wright? I don't think it's really that much of a debate. I think they're just especially in Montreal, the Montreal media's trying to create more than what it actually is. And I'm fine with that. I think that's completely fine. It gets numbers. Obviously, Habs fans, you guys are... I have to be honest. Listen, as an Islander fan, I have to go to Montreal. But the Habs fans, the way you guys watch my videos, the numbers don't lie. It's hard to argue that the Habs fans are the biggest and most loyal fan base. And again, maybe that's a little biased because of the numbers, but the numbers don't lie, right? So anyway, moving away from the draft, we've talked enough about the draft today and really over the past 2 months now for the Habs. What's going on with Jeff Petry? I have a really interesting thing here because this is from Jimmy Murphy. It's no secret that the Canadiens are shopping defenseman Jeff Petry. And the reason for that is kind of an interesting report, which was apparently during this season, Jeff Petry was on his way out of Montreal, apparently to Philadelphia. Now, the rumor was that the Philadelphia Flyers would trade James Van Riemsdyk and a prospect to the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for Jeff Petry. Actually, no, it was the other way. It was James Van Riemsdyk for Jeff Petry and a Montreal Canadiens prospect to Philly, which I thought was very interesting. That way, James Van Riemsdyk's money comes off the books for the Flyers, right? I think he's got 1 year left on his deal. in Philadelphia. And then Jeff Petry is a defenseman that goes to Philly. Just what the Flyers need, right? Another old defenseman that's injury prone. They don't have enough of those, I guess, right? So I thought that was very interesting. Let me know what you guys think of that. Would you guys want James Van Riemsdyk for a prospect and Jeff Petry? I don't know if that's necessarily the trade I was expecting, but again, I don't know if that was something that was from their current management with Kent Hughes, or was that something that was discussed when their former GM Mark Bergevin was there. That's something I'd want more information on, but again, that is something that was discussed. So I did want to mention that because that's kind of it's not a big trade. It's big. It's guys that were big names, right? If that trade happened 5 years ago, that would have been a blockbuster trade. James Van Riemsdyk for Jeff Petry and a prospect. But today, it's like, all right, these are two aging guys and, on the wrong side of 30 that, let's just kind of dump their contract somewhere else sort of deal. That's kind of what happened with the Voracek-Atkinson trade a couple years back, right, for the Flyers. They did something very similar. So let me know what you guys think between the draft stuff and, of course, this rumor, James Van Riemsdyk to the Flyers, James Van Riemsdyk to the Habs. What do you guys think of that? Thank you so much for watching. And, guys, the #1 fan base in the National Hockey League. I will see you again next time. Peace.